will be negative. Always remember, I again repeat here so that you should remember, stem cells are CD34 positive because these are immature cell, right? And once they will become mature, once they will become mature in the peripheral blood, they will become CD34 negative. Right, so now you understood this point? Mature will be negative, immature will be positive. So what is this? It is a negative. CD34 negative and immunoglobulin will be positive because immunoglobulin receptors are present on B cells. So now you understood. That is how question had been asked in exam. Right? So CD34 minus immunoglobulin receptor plus is seen in the Burkitt's lymphoma. Right? So now you understood. Mature will be having minus. So that is telling all the mnemonic, good mnemonic, right? How fast you can think about mnemonic, I'm so surprised. That's great. Very good. That's a good thing. Right. Right, so now you understood mature will be CD34 negative, B cell hai, so this will be positive for immunoglobulin receptor. So these are the mature B cell lymphoma, 34 negative, immunoglobulin positive. Right? What is the origin? Origin of this tumor is from germinal center. So they will be positive for which marker? BCL6 positive. You remember lymphocyte predominant, BCL6 positive, right? So that is how you have to understand, right? So clear? Now, when we talk about Burkitt lymphoma, if you remember what I have told you, Burkitt means B means bad, mnemonic, B means bad. So Burkitt will be having bad prognosis, right? Burkitt will be having bad prognosis. Why they are having bad prognosis? Why Burkitt will be having bad prognosis? Because of the two reasons. CNS involvement is very high, right? So they have increased affinity. They have increased affinity for the neurological involvement, right? And second thing is they are having maximum proliferative index. Remember, this is the cancer, human cancer, which is having maximum proliferative index when we are comparing with all kind of cancers. When we are comparing with all kind of cancer, this is having maximum proliferative index. That is why Burkitt lymphoma is the most common cause of the tumor lysis syndrome. In neoplasia topic, you remember we have discussed this, and that time also I have told you Burkitt lymphoma is the most common cause of the tumor lysis syndrome. Remember? So now I understood why they are having bad prognosis, increased CNS involvement, and highest proliferative index amongst all the human cancer known so far. And that is why they are most commonly associated with the tumor lysis because they are dividing fast. And because of the faster division, there will be faster cell death, and cell death will be causing more, tumor lysis syndrome. Clear? Because they are dividing fast. And fine. Now we will see Burkitt lymphoma, just a general classification, right? A general classification, we can divide them into two, endemic or sporadic Burkitt lymphoma. Right? There are two types of Burkitt lymphoma, right? Endemic and sporadic. Endemic, E for Epstein-Barr virus. So this is a mnemonic, E for endemic, E for Epstein-Barr virus. So most commonly associated with Epstein-Barr virus infection will be endemic. Right? Endemic means where? Endemic to certain areas like Africa. So endemic is African origin. Who will be affected? Endemic is pedia. So it will be kids, right? So pediatric age group will be commonly affected by endemic Burkitt lymphoma, right? So endemic Burkitt lymphoma is pediatric age group will be commonly affected, right? African origin will be there because this is endemic, and most commonly they are having association with Epstein-Barr virus, and most common site will be the face, right? Most common site will be the face. So when I will show you the picture of that boy will be African boy, and he's having a mass at the mandible. Most common site is the mandible. Remember, mandible on the face, where on the mandible. So most common site will be face, and most common site in face is the mandible. Whereas sporadic is seen in anywhere. It will be mostly affecting adults, and they are having less association with the Epstein-Barr virus. E for endemic, E for Epstein-Barr virus. Most common site. Yeah, in history also Africa. I mean also most common presentation is the ileocecal mass, right? So now I understood these are the differences between the endemic and sporadic, which examiner asked. Endemic is pediatric, African, and Epstein-Barr virus common. Mandible of the face is commonly affected. Sporadic adult, less common association. Most common site is the abdomen. Ileocecal mass is the most common presentation. Okay, no issue. So now in Burkitt lymphoma, when you are going to see them, right? What is very peculiar of the Burkitt lymphoma? See this, we all know that anti-apoptotic is BCL2, right? Anti-apoptotic is BCL2, and in tumor anti-apoptotic should be more. But this is the tumor where this BCL2 is negative, absent, right? So because of absence of the BCL2, what will happen? There will be frequent apoptosis of the tumor cell. That is why they are having more tumor lysis syndrome. You understand? They're proliferating very fast. And they are having no BCL2 also. So that is why there is more apoptosis, more cell death, more tumor lysis syndrome because anti-apoptotic BCL2 is negative. Frequent apoptosis, tumor cell will be undergoing faster apoptosis, right? So frequent apoptosis of the tumor cell, right? But BCL that's the reason, right? So because of all these things, as I have told you, there is an increased rate of apoptosis, which will be reflected in the lymph node biopsy. So what will happen when you are seeing the lymph node biopsy? What is the characteristic finding you will see in the Burkitt lymphoma? Starry sky appearance. That was the question in exam also. That was the question in the AIMS exam, histopathology, right? So starry sky is given in Robbins also. Now I'm going to explain why lymph node biopsy of the Burkitt lymphoma will be showing you starry sky appearance, right? So as I have told you, there is no BCL2, right? So tumor cells, can you see the tumor cells? Small round blue cell tumor. Tumor cells are small round blue cell tumor. Why they are small round? Because cytoplasm will be very less. And nucleus will be more. That is why they will be looking blue color only. So that is why these are called as blue cell. Small round blue cell because nucleus will be abundant and cytoplasm will be very scanty. So such tumors are called as small round blue cell tumor. And small round blue cell tumor. What are the tumors you will include here? NHL like Burkitt lymphoma, like chronic lymphoma. The tumors you will include here? NHL like Burkitt lymphoma, like chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Right? It can be including the neuroblastoma. These are all PGI question, right? Neuroblastoma. It can include Wilms tumor. It can include primitive neuroectodermal tumor. Right? Rhabdomyosarcoma. So all these are the differential for the small round blue cell tumor, right? Even small cell cancer of lung. So all these are the examples of the small round blue cell tumor, right? So remember, all these are the small round blue cell tumor, right? How is the sky? The sky looks blue. This tumor, it can include primitive neuroectodermal tumor. So right of lung. These are the differential for the small round blue cell tumor, right? Even small cell cancer of lung. So all these are the examples of the small round blue cell tumor, right? So remember, all these are the small round blue cell tumor, right? How is the sky? The sky looks blue. So all these tumor cells which are looking blue color, they are forming the sky. So tumor cells are forming the sky because they are blue in color. PNET is primitive neuroectodermal tumor. I'll be teaching you, don't worry. When we'll be studying in system path, that time I will be telling you, right? So now you can see there is a tumor cells which will be like a sky, and because of the small round blue cell appearance, right? As I said, tumor cells will be undergoing apoptosis because of lack of anti-apoptotic. Because of the apoptotic death, it will be taken up by macrophage. Right, it will be taken up by macrophage. So this macrophage will be engulfing all this tumor mass, and this macrophage with the tumor is like a sky. So that foamy and clear cytoplasm, because macrophage have foamy and clear cytoplasm, so that is why they are looking like a sky. Right, that is why macrophage is like a star. Sorry, they are looking like a star. So tumor cells are blue in the sky. Macrophage, they are having tumor debris. That is why they are looking like a star. So because of the tumor debris, RMD is rhabdomyosarcoma, not RMD. I have written wrongly, I think. RMS, rhabdomyosarcoma, right? So macrophage is like a star, tumor cell is like a sky. So because of these appearance, this is called as starry sky appearance, right? So lack of anti-apoptotic gene, tumor cell will be undergoing apoptosis taken up by macrophage. So macrophage with the tumor debris is called as star, and small round blue cell tumor is like a sky. So this starry sky appearance. Right. Burkitt lymphoma. When you are going for the diagnosis, there are three things which we are going to consider. One is the bone marrow aspirate, second is the immunophenotyping, and third one is the cytogenetic analysis. Lymph node biopsy we have seen, right? Lymph node biopsy we have seen, so that's why I am just focusing on other things. So bone marrow aspirate or peripheral smear. Remember, even in the peripheral smear also, you will find these findings, right? So what are these findings? You will see a tumor cell. So how will be the tumor cell? How will be the tumor cell? Tumor cell will be having two characteristic findings. Number one, numerous vacuoles. You can see cytoplasm is having so many vacuoles. All these vacuoles are clear because of the presence of the lipid. So numerous lipid containing vacuole, number one. On bone marrow aspirate, what will be a characteristic or diagnostic finding? Number one is the numerous lipid containing vacuole. Second, when you will look at the cytoplasm, usually cytoplasm is eosinophilic, but in this case, they will be having a different color of the cytoplasm, which is called as royal blue cytoplasm. So this is the second finding. So these two findings on the bone marrow aspirate or peripheral blood smear examination, this will confirm the diagnosis of the Burkitt lymphoma. So what are these two things? Numerous lipid containing vacuoles and royal blue cytoplasm will confirm the diagnosis of the Burkitt lymphoma on the peripheral blood or on the bone marrow aspirate. Or you can say that leukemic form of the Burkitt lymphoma. Right? Immunophenotyping, we all know that B cell types, so all B cell marker 10, 19, BCL6 is the germinal center, so that is why they are positive. There is no reason for the lipid. Lipid is accumulated, that's all. There is no specific typing, we all know that B cell types, so all B cell marker 10, 19, BCL6 is the germinal center, so that is why they are positive. There is no reason for the lipid. Lipid is accumulated, that's all. There is no specific reason for that thing, right? So all cells have their different things. Some cells will be having lipid accumulation, some will be having glycogen. Right? Unless it is a glycogen and lipid storage disorder, there is no, we will discuss when we'll discuss myeloma, then we'll discuss. They are not having vacuoles, they are having something else, right? So immunophenotyping is CD10 positive, 19 positive, BCL6 positive. So just remember these three markers. Cytogenetics, when you are going to see. See, always remember, Burkitt lymphoma, if you look at the B, looks like 8. Right? So all of the Burkitt lymphoma translocation, you will see this 8 is the chromosome number 8. And this chromosome number 8 will be having which gene? c-MYC gene. So c-MYC translocation is seen in all Burkitt lymphoma, right? So this is kind of mnemonic also, right? This is the kind of mnemonic. B looks like 8, and 8 is the chromosome number, and this chromosome number 8 is having c-MYC, and c-MYC translocation, remember, it is c-MYC translocation which is responsible for the Burkitt lymphoma. So now you can see 814, 28, 822, all are having 8. Right? All are having 8. So this is the confirmatory test for the Burkitt lymphoma. And out of all three, remember 814 is the most common type of the translocation. That is the another important MCQ which examiner asks. 814 is the most common type of the translocation in the Burkitt lymphoma, right? So I understood lymph node biopsy, you did bone marrow aspirate, you checked the immunophenotyping, now you have seen the cytogenetics. All these four things are the diagnostic modality for the Burkitt lymphoma. Now you'll see Burkitt lymphoma. Can you see this? And can you tell me what kind of Burkitt lymphoma it can be? African boy, face, mandible, right? So now understood. So this is the endemic type of Burkitt lymphoma, right? African baby, mandibular area is having, the face is most common side, and they will be commonly associated with Epstein-Barr virus. Yeah, that is what I wanted to tell you, right? Here, now come to the biopsy. So when you are going to see the lymph node biopsy in this case, right? Now you can see that. Now you can see that there are the areas. Can you see? These are all small round blue cell tumor. These are all small round blue cell tumor. So now you can see they're packed with small round blue cell. Can you see they're all small round blue cell tumor. Can you see all these are small round blue cell tumor, right? So all these small round blue cell tumor, they will be having no anti-apoptotic gene. So they will be going for apoptosis. And now you can see these are all macrophages. Can you see clear areas of the macrophages with tumor debris? Macrophages with tumor debris. So these are the macrophages, right? These are all macrophages which are having clear cytoplasm with the tumor debris, right? So macrophage is like a star, right? And round blue cell is like a sky. So that is why it is called starry sky appearance. Okay, you want to see the tumor debris also? Okay. It's very small. You will not see. In this you can appreciate. Just a minute. Now look at this macrophage. Can you see this macrophage? In this macrophage, I'm just going with the green color. These are, can you see this green color, 2 dots? This is the third dot I'm showing you. So these are the all tumor debris. These are all the tumor debris, right? So now you can see here also in the macrophage there are tumor debris. These are all tumor debris, right? So you can see these are all tumor debris. This pycnotic, very dark blue color structure in this vacuolated area. These are all tumor debris, right? Right. This is the bone marrow aspirate, which I was talking about. Bone marrow aspirate, and similar finding you will see in the peripheral blood also, right? So both places you can see. So that is why I'm adding ALL L3 also looks like same. They are same only. That is the older classification. Probably no examiner will not be asking ALL L3 if you are saying see ALL L3 is nothing. It's a Burkitt lymphoma only. It's a Burkitt lymphoma leukemic form. That's all, nothing else. Burkitt lymphoma leukemic form is called as ALL. Examiner is not going to ask. These are very old questions, and they're all now you buy on things. Now they're not going to ask these questions. They're all out of syllabus. It's of no use now, right? In older time they used to ask what is ALL L3 and all. This is now WHO has revived so many times after all this thing. So what we are seeing, let us focus on this thing. What we are seeing here in this picture, you can see all these tumor cells. Can you see how are these tumor cells? Especially I wanted to focus these cell, this one and this one. So can you notice there are so many small vacuoles? So can you see they are having so many small vacuoles? So all these are vacuoles. All these are vacuoles which will be having lipid. So they will be lipid stain positive, right? And in this, if you look at the cytoplasm, can you see the cytoplasm? Can you see the cytoplasm? How is the color of cytoplasm? Can you notice this color of cytoplasm? This color of cytoplasm? Can you notice all these color of cytoplasm? How is the color of cytoplasm? Right? So cytoplasm in green color I had marked. Cytoplasm is royal blue cytoplasm. So this is called royal blue cytoplasm. Right? So royal blue is a different color. Right? Royal blue is a very different color. Blue is blue is a little lighter, but royal blue is dark blue. If you are writing with the ink pen in my childhood we used right nowadays you don't do all these things. So that time there will be royal blue pen, Chipak royal blue ink will be coming and we'll be using that thing, right? So that is called royal blue. That will be really blue, right? Yeah, in fountain pen we will be using. It might be your father grandparent might be using. So they'll be using. They'll be very fond of that thing, right? I want that ink only, right? So that's such a good thing it is, right? So royal blue cytoplasm, vacuolated, vacuolated cytoplasm, royal blue cytoplasm. These two things are present. It means you are looking at the bone marrow aspirate of the Burkitt's lymphoma in the leukemic form, right? So that is done. Now we'll be moving to the plasma cell tumor, right, or multiple myelomas. So first of all, we should know that plasma cell tumor, right? First of all, we should know how to identify the normal plasma cell. Then you'll be able to identify the abnormal cell. Otherwise, it will be difficult. So when we talk about the normal plasma cells, you can see this. This is the normal plasma cells which I have made here. If you look at this plasma cell, what is the color of plasma cell I have made here? It's all blue in color. So remember, nucleus will be also blue, cytoplasm will be also blue. So here we have to remember that cytoplasm will be also blue in color in like this. Right? So this is how plasma cell normal plasma cell will be looking like. Basophilic cell, how will be the cell? Round oval, small cell. They will be small. They are not bigger cell. They will be small, round oval cell, and they will be having nucleus pushed at one end. Nucleus has been pushed at one end. So eccentric nuclei. So small round oval cell, eccentric nuclei. A small round oval cell and nucleus is pushed to the one end. So that is the meaning of eccentric nuclei, right? And can you see there is an area which I'm not staining now. Will be unstained in the routine staining also. Right? So what is this called as? This unstained empty area. This unstained empty area is called as perinuclear Hoff. Right? Perinuclear Hoff is due to presence of the Golgi body. Right, so it is because of the presence of the Golgi bodies. Golgi bodies will not take up any stain, and that is why they will remain unstained. They will be looking clear. that is why you are seeing the normal cell is having perinuclear Hoff, which is characteristic of the normal plasma cell, right? And plasma cell, as I was telling you repeatedly, they are blue in color. Why they are basophilic? They are basophilic, and that basophilia is because of the increased amount of the endoplasmic reticulum. So remember, basophilic cytoplasm is because of increased amount of endoplasmic reticulum. So plasma cell will be rich in endoplasmic reticulum. Remember, this is very, very important concept. You will understand when I will be teaching you some of the cell finding, right? So that time I will be telling you, see, this is present in endoplasmic reticulum because plasma cells are rich in endoplasmic reticulum. That is why they are basophilic in staining, right? And if you look at the nucleus, can you see the chromatin arrangement? This is like a spoke of wheel, right? A spoke of wheel, or you can say that cartwheel appearance. So why there is a cartwheel appearance? Because of the radial arrangement. Because of the radial arrangement of the clumped chromatin. So these are the clumping of the chromatin, and this clumped chromatin is having radial arrangement. So clumped chromatin with radial arrangement is called as cartwheel appearance, right? That is called as cartwheel appearance. Clear? So cartwheel appearance is the radial arrangement of the clumped chromatin, right? So these are the important finding about the normal plasma cell. Small round oval cell, eccentric nuclei, perinuclear Hoff, basophilic cytoplasm, radially arranged clumped chromatin. All these things are the normal plasma cell, right? Now, what you will see in the neoplastic plasma cell. Neoplastic plasma cells, they will be having hyperchromatic nucleus, right? So there will be no radially arranged clumped chromatin. They will be all uniform and dark blue in appearance. That is the meaning of. No, cartwheel is difficult to appreciate. I will show you. Cartwheel is, but yes, if you are very expert in the hematology, you can appreciate, but it will be best appreciated on electron microscopy. I'll just let you know that. Cartwheel appearance is best seen on electron microscopy. Right? I will show you that electron microscopy. I have got that picture also, right? Right? So here I was talking about the abnormal or neoplastic plasma cells will be hyperchromatic. No perinuclear Hoff. This clearing will be absent. No perinuclear Hoff, and they will be having more basophilic cytoplasm. So these are the 3 points we have to remember. Hyperchromatic nuclei, no perinuclear Hoff, and more basophilic cytoplasm. Right? Now look at this one. This was the Ames question in 2016. Identify this cell. So what is this cell? Can you see this? Can you notice something now, Prashant? Can you see this in the nucleus? You can see that there is a clumping of the chromatin. Can you notice there is a variable clumping of the nuclear chromatin is present? So exactly we cannot say that cartwheel appearance, but it gives a look like that. It gives a approximate look like that. And you can see the cytoplasm is also basophilic. And around the nucleus, can you see there is an area where there is no staining. So this is called perinuclear Hoff. Right? So can you see all these things? Can you appreciate? This is perinuclear Hoff, due to Golgi body. Nucleus with cartwheel chromatin. In this picture you can see, because purposefully I have taken to show you, but usually it is difficult to appreciate, and you can notice that basophilic cytoplasm. Basophilic cytoplasm. So what are these things? These are all feature of the normal plasma cells. Right, so these are the normal plasma cells. Here I wanted to show you. See, this picture is again a very good picture. This can be your Ames question or future question in the INI. Now Ames is not there, but I have become habitual. Right, so it's not thumbprint. It's not thumbprint. Don't say thumbprint. Thumbprint is different meaning. Right. So what I'm showing you here in this picture, what we are looking at, this is the plasma cell, and you can see now these cytoplasm is full of endoplasmic reticulum. Full of endoplasmic reticulum. Right, and now look at the nucleus. Can you notice the nucleus? Can you notice the nucleus, and especially the chromatin? Can you see the chromatin? This dark color is the chromatin, like this. So it is going like a cartwheel. So now you can see cartwheel appearance is best appreciated on the electron microscopy, right? So in this electron microscopy, we are seeing the cartwheel appearance. Cartwheel appearance of the nuclear chromatin, right? So this is the plasma cell, normal plasma cells. Right? So now you understood normal plasma cells, electron microscopy. This is the nucleus, this is the cytoplasm, and cytoplasm is rich in endoplasmic reticulum. Look at the nucleus. Chromatin is dark color. Chromatin is having a spoke of wheel or cartwheel arrangement of the condensation of the chromatin. Right? So here, so now you understood. Now I wanted to show you the abnormal plasma cell. If I have got, it's moving slowly. Now look at this plasma cell. See, I just wanted to give you an example. That is why I wanted to show you. Can you look at this cell? Can you see the nucleus? How dark it is? And can you see the cytoplasm? Very, very high basophilia, right? Comparison to that, very high basophilia. And there is no perinuclear Hoff. So what is this? This is the abnormal or tumor plasma cells, right? So now you understood. So this is the abnormal plasma cells or tumor plasma cells, right? Right? Now again, another important thing on immunophenotyping also, we can discriminate the normal plasma cells from the neoplastic plasma cells. Right? So normal and neoplastic plasma cells. What will be present in the normal plasma cell? Normal plasma cells will be positive for 38, 138. Remember, this is very, very important. They will be positive for 38, 138, and 1945 is also positive. and leukocyte marker, B cell marker, 38-138, right? 38-138 is positive in the neoplastic also. So I understood. CD38 and 138, they are positive for the both normal and 20 is also positive. Nothing to worry about that. So don't remember so much thing. Remember that much which we are using to diagnose plasma cell leukemia. Example is not going to ask you 23-21. They're all B cell tumor only, right? They're all B cell tumor only, right? So there is something which is there are so many CD markers, otherwise you'll be getting confused. Why do you remember that 23 is negative, 25 is negative? Don't do that. Try to understand which is commonly used. Examiner is going to ask those questions. See, examiner is not going to ask you uncommon thing. Whatever we are doing commonly in the lab, they are going to ask those questions, right? So these are the commonly used marker which will be asked in your exam also. If you remember this much, that is enough, right? So 138 positive is both normal and the abnormal. But 19 and 45, which is positive in the plasma cell, will be negative in the plasma cell, right? But there will be an expression of the CD56. That is the one extra point you have to remember. So 1945 negative, but extra is the CD56 expression to be present, right? And then when you are going to see the immunoglobulin, you will see surface immunoglobulin marker will be absent. Surface immunoglobulin marker will be absent, and cytoplasmic immunoglobulin marker will be present, and that will be either kappa or lambda. Either kappa or lambda. So it is either, never both. Remember? So cytoplasmic immunoglobulin, why never both? Because it should be monoclonal. Remember? Monoclonality either, never both. Remember? So cytoplasmic immunoglobulin, why never both? Because it should be monoclonal. Remember? Monoclonality is a sign of tumor. If both are present, then it will become reactive. They will become reactive. So either this or that. Then only we can say it is a monoclonal, same type of the clone. Either kappa or lambda. If both are present, they are not same type. That will be reactive. Polyclonal. Clear? This 38-138 positive like a normal cell, but what is abnormal? 1945 will be absent and 56 will be present, and there will be surface. See, these are the things which I also don't know. Why surface negative and why cytoplasmic is positive? These are the characteristic of the tumor. Why tumor is a tumor? It's like that kind of question to me, right? So surface immunoglobulin is negative. That is the characteristic of these tumor, right? That is the characteristic. Why they are positive for all these markers, right? So that is the same answer. Why they are positive, nobody knows. It's a characteristic of these tumor, right? So same way, surface immunoglobulin is negative, cytoplasmic will be positive, either kappa or lambda, right? Fine. Now coming to the disorders of the plasma cell, we call them as a paraproteinemia or dysproteinemia. This was the question, right? This is the question which examiner had asked in exam, right? This is the question which examiner had asked in the PGI exam. What are the examples of the paraproteinemia or dysproteinemia? So group of disorders. Remember, these are group of disorders with abnormal increase in monoclonal immunoglobulin. So group of disorders with abnormal increase in the monoclonal immunoglobulin protein is called as paraproteinemia. So it's a bigger term which will include all the plasma cell disorders because they are immunoglobulin protein. Monoclonal immunoglobulin protein is called as paraproteinemia. So it's a bigger term which will include all the plasma cell disorders because they are the one who are increasing the monoclonal immunoglobulin protein. So who are the examples? So remember, paraproteinemia or dysproteinemia both are same, right? Group of disorder, abnormal increase in monoclonal immunoglobulin, and these are the disorders. MGUS is the monoclonal gammopathy of unknown significance, right? MGUS is smoldering multiple myeloma, Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia, and just remember these names of the heavy chain disease. Heavy chain disease, just examiner will be asking the names. Seligman is alpha chain heavy chain disorder, and Franklin disease is the gamma chain heavy chain disorder, right? So alpha is Seligman, gamma, Frank R is looks like gamma, Frank R is looking like gamma, so gamma chain. So that is kind of mnemonic. Seligman, if you change the Seligman is spelling A and A is alpha. So Seligman alpha chain, Franklin is gamma chain. So now you understood these are all examples of the paraproteinemia or dysproteinemia. So MGUS, smoldering multiple myeloma, Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia, all these are examples of the paraproteinemia or dysproteinemia. We will discuss about them one by one. MGUS, smoldering multiple myeloma, and multiple myeloma. These are the three important paraproteinemia which I wanted to tell you right now. 1, 2, 3. Clinical association. They are prone to transform